Welcome to Urban Forecast. This is one of me and Jon's little short episodes, and the topic today is how to get a job at Ackroyd Lowrie. So, Jon, I know you've got some thoughts on starting from the application process, what you thought when you were applying versus what you've learned now as an employer you want to look for.
Yeah, I think what you don't realise when you're an employee or wanting to be an employee is just how many CVs come through for employers. So the first thing you want to avoid is being sifted out. So Oli particularly gets annoyed when people spell his name wrong. Watch out. So that, basic mistakes
it's
like
in
that.
the title of the company. It's harder to spell it wrong than it is to
It has
spell
happened
it
a few times, though. So I think just not getting yourself, I think when I see a badly formatted letter with Times New Roman font, I'm just like, as an architect, I want something that's considered a bit. So that will almost immediately count you out if it kind of is all messy.
On those cover letters, because I quite like the personalisation. I've said this before, but then whenever I say it, I get inundated. But I like it when people just message me on LinkedIn because it feels much more authentic. I think if somebody has taken the time to send me a personalised email, I like that as well.
I agree.
When it's a dear sir, and you can tell it's being sent out to lots of other companies. We received one recently which said, "I love Morris & Co. I think your building in wherever it was is a really great example of." I was like, "Fuck off, go work for Morris & Co."
I like Morris & Co.
I like Morris & Co. too, but they're replying with a generic letter which they forgot to specify. So for me, the more personal the approach, the better.
Think it is. I think that's the surprise. So it's
formal.
Easy to get sifted out, but yeah, making the personal approach. I think I've been surprised in life how many times if you go and directly, often there's gatekeepers, but if you approach the CEO, the MD, the directors, the people, they actually, if you're enthusiastic and genuine, you can break through and they'll think. So I think a personalised message is good. A good portfolio and very clear, not too long, basically. Would be my feedback, because you want something that catches their eye when they're very busy but kind of demonstrates that, and then
definitely personalised approach, maybe not a massively formal cover letter. Often I'd say through LinkedIn if you can, very personalised message, and then a really short snappy portfolio with some nice imagery that aligns to the person that, we're talking about how to get a job here, so aligns to what we like.
I think when I see someone's actually read something that we've written or wrote or about kind of maybe retrofit and urban design and other things, then I kind of I pick up. Definitely. A little bit of research and getting the personalisation around. There's plenty of content now out. I think that's.
And so that would hopefully lead then to an interview. We tend to do like a 2-stage process for our interviews. So the first one might be a Zoom one. Any tips for a Zoom? The first one is often a shorter meeting.
Depends whether it's with me or you, Oli. There's slightly different interviews.
I don't do any interviews. I don't hardly do any interviews
anymore. No, I think it's. What do I think? I think, again, it's about not getting sifted out. It's about it's hard, but you do have to try and project and be reasonably confident and try and communicate. And so I sometimes try and read behind the lines of the person that's a bit quieter, because they often have something interesting to say, but they're maybe a bit blocked. But I think if you can get that across, make sure you're organised. I think when you're a director and you've put aside time and the person turns up 5 minutes late and can't find their portfolio and doesn't know how to load up Zoom, that doesn't reflect well. I'm not saying it's a killer, but it really makes a difference. So prep, be organised, be there. If someone, one of the big characteristics is about a proactive attitude for me, about a positive attitude, so that if you're turning up and you're kind of not making the right kind of intentions clear, then that probably counts you out. So if you turn up and you're positive and you've made the effort, then I think that really goes quite a long way. Even if there's a couple of issues with a drawing you don't like or something, if they're keen to be, putting the right vibe there, that would be very valuable to me.
I think as well, maybe more so with the in-person than with the Zoom interview, the time that it takes, the time before you're showing people drawings is often the most important. And I think there's a tendency, if you have a portfolio, if you're an architect, to get straight down into the meat of it and get your drawings out, and you've missed an opportunity there to build a relationship and also to try and listen to pain points or points of interest of the person that
try and create a connection. Because what I would say is, if I was obviously, if the employer said it needs to be Zoom, then you say Zoom. But I would ask whether there was an opportunity to meet in person.
Definitely.
And if someone said that to me, if Zoom's the only option, I'll come. But if it's possible, I could pop over to your office at your convenience.
I'd probably say yes.
I'd say yes every
exactly,
time, because if they work around my schedule, and then I'd be impressed by that.
Yeah.
So
by the proactivity.
Proactivity. Go. I want to meet you in person. One of our clients, I remember, who was trying to negotiate fees with us, and I said, well, they're a billionaire. And I said, can I come and meet you? And I actually went and spent an hour and a half in their office talking about their whole, and that for me as a practice owner, to actually go and talk to the top client was worth it. And I think it's the same kind of mentality. If you can go and see the director or whatever, then I think you'll learn more as well.
Definitely. And then I think, so once it comes to the in-person meeting, definitely understanding the tech and not making everybody wait around for 10 minutes, or not. Like, some people don't bring it, and they don't bring a laptop, and I always found that a bit weird. What's your thoughts on paper? I don't love doing paper portfolios anymore. I always feel a bit worried I'm going to spill my coffee on them. I'd rather it was just up on the screen.
I'm open to either. I think there is something nice about paper, and if I can see someone has an ability to hand draw, even if it's on an iPad or something, that kind of immediacy and creativity is attractive to me. Like that understanding. I think the digital stuff is, how most of us present now if we're going to clients and everything else. But I think, if you're going to bring something physically, make sure it's lovely, because it's a bit more experiential. If you've got 10 portfolios of like old drawings, don't do that, right? Just bring one nice book of thing, or something that's a kind of beautiful thing. Yeah.
My biggest bugbear about, and this I think is mostly when interviewing people that haven't worked in practice, is not having a site plan on a project that they're trying to explain. Like, I think it's just such a fundamental thing. Particularly if somebody's talking about a university project and they're like, I'm somewhere in their back of their brain thinking about concepts. And I'm like, where is this? Where am I? Just give me a site plan. Every project should have a site plan, because you're talking to somebody mostly that would have been looking at plans for 20 years if they're the director of a company. And if we can feel a bit more comfortable once we know, get our bearings with a site plan. That's just it's such a bugbear when people don't have it, because I just feel a bit lost talking about a concept that's anchored in no space.
Yeah, I agree. I think the other thing is sometimes you feel some students are very proud of their student projects, and they'll have like huge amount of their student project and then like one drawing in practice. And I think in reality, I like to see that creativity, but keep it short and keep it really good.
I think put it at the end as well. For me, and this is tips on how to get a job at Ackroyd Lowrie. Yeah, if you get me in an interview, like I don't care that much about the university stuff. Like, it's nice to see if somebody's got creative, particularly like I love enthusiasm, but I really think, we don't actually take a lot of part ones, and with part ones it might be different, but mostly if we're getting part twos or further in their career, I want to see what they've done in real life. I want to see their authorship, not just kind of group work, and I really want to see like some examples of the stuff that they do outside of
can do. Have they gone out, built stuff, made stuff, drawn stuff, made what have they done?
That's the stuff that makes a difference for me. Where have they tried to really like change the world themselves, in even a very small way, I think is always more impressive than here's some university work, because you had to do that.
Yeah, I've had that, and it's put me off when you've seen 50 pages of university work and you just say, it's too much.
Yeah. So, some of the roles that we hire for, we actually do some sort of challenges, and more for the senior roles. But that was one of the things that actually our non-execs advised us on. We've spent a long time on our hiring process over the years. We've hired probably hundreds of people. They're not all here still. People move on. But in the course of that time, what we found was that often it's quite a short period of time to get to know somebody. That you might get half an hour and then an hour and then an hour. So 2.5 hours. Do you really know that person that well? How are they going to act under pressure? So one of the things that our non-exec said is send people tasks in advance, see what they come up with, or make them do tasks in the meetings. And we've had some very mixed experiences with putting these challenges to people, making them draw stuff live, draw details live. We had a third interview with a person that we were about to appoint as an associate, and just the last thing we had to do was gave him a challenge to draw a hand-drawn detail. And do you remember, he just left? He said, I can't do it, I'm not going to do this. And it was interesting to see how that, had pre-warned him that it was going to happen, but in the pressure of the moment, that sort of became you could kind of see that maybe the pressure was something that was going to affect him. What are your thoughts on having done that? We aren't. I don't think we do that at the moment.
We stopped doing it. We tried it out on some people. I mean, it's quite intensive, and it can elicit the wrong reaction. I think. I mean, it's a question for us, not maybe for the interviewees. But I think it's what we were trying to see there is how people react under pressure and proactivity. And I think for us, if you maybe even personalise the front of your portfolio to your employer, to Ackroyd Lowrie, to show that you've thought about it, to make the effort, to try and think about how you can impress upon them. That's good. I think be open to challenges. I mean, different employers do it. People plenty of employers do exams and that kind of thing for big employers. So and actually in reality, you do get put under pressure. You get put in front of clients, contractors, planners, and they want to see a sketch, and it can really unlock it. So. I think it is good to test, but it does, it can cause a few issues.
Be flexible and open to challenges. That's what I think. But we don't currently set challenges. Cool. Thank you, Jon. That was very helpful. And if anybody does want to apply, you now know how to. Just go to LinkedIn.
Look forward to hearing from you.
Thanks. Bye.